tap and acrobatic because I wanted to join a circus. And unfortunately, in South Africa, there was no such thing as television, so that didn't come until 1976. The government wouldn't allow it. But I knew what I wanted to do with my life, and I decided to, well, at 13, I won the South African Acrobatic Championship, and I decided at 15, going on 16, I'm leaving to take up my career, and I went to Paris, and I got accepted in the Moulin Rouge as a chorus girl, and then I was promoted to the principal, and then the last show, Fascination, was built around me. And that's when I decided, well, it's time to go off to Las Vegas. But before that, I stopped off in Rome. I did a television show called Canzonissima with Maurice Chevalier, and I was just a dancer, and Gino Landi was the choreographer. And all along my path, I took lessons from all kinds of people. But to cut it short, let's go fast forward to Vegas, which I came here in the end of 66, December 66, to work at the Dunes in a show called Casino de Paris, and then later on I was starring in Vive les Girls. And that's where the unbelievable happened, because I didn't know anything either about, I'd seen Sean Connery in Africa in Dr. No, so I knew who he was. But he and Cubby Broccoli came to see the show, and turns out I look just like Sean Connery's ex-wife, and he was blown away. He said, her name is Diane Cilento. And he said, he came backstage to meet me and said, you've got to be in the show. And it was just amazing. I couldn't believe it. And so we filmed a lot of stuff at the Dunes. We also filmed at the Tropicana and a few other places, but those were places that I had gone to. One of the lines I had in the show with Sean was cut because you could see partial boobie. But you know what? That's the way it was. I was in a showgirl outfit, and he was truly dynamite and one of the classiest gentlemen I've ever worked with. Had an amazing sense of humor, and we truly had so much fun here when, in, what was it, 71, when Vegas was Vegas. I mean, and I took him and a couple of other people from the cast. We'd go out catching places that they would never get to go to. I took him to the Chateau Vegas one time at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I pointed out people. I said, you see, that's Tony Spilotro, and that's Lou Beans over there, and you can have a gourmet meal at 3 in the morning. He couldn't believe that, you know. But we just truly had a blast, and it was very kind of him to invite me to Palm Springs, where, like I said, I did meet Trina Parks. But I can't, I'm overwhelmed by, you know, our loss, because he truly was an amazing individual. And God bless him, he's in a better place now, and he reached 90 years old, bless his heart. That's absolutely amazing. But, yeah, I've been blessed. I've worked all over the world, Paris, Stockholm, Copenhagen. I was in the Broadway musical Chicago. I played Murderous Liz. And I've just been blessed everywhere and worked with phenomenal people.
And you've also worked in the film The Grasshopper with Jacqueline Bisset, Jim Brown.
There's so much stuff that I've done that I've forgotten about. And since I've recently been the victim of a fire, somebody set fire to the building.
Oh, no.
And I'm going through seeing what is left and what I still have, and coming across stuff, and I'm going, oh, I forgot I did that. Like I was also a June Taylor tapper in, they all came from Florida to do a show at the Caesar's Palace. And they needed one girl because she couldn't make it here, and so they had auditions. Over 800 people showed up for the audition, and I was fortunate enough to get the part. And we did the filming at Caesars, and so technically I can say I was a June Taylor dancer. And just to add a little humor to this, I happen to be the second African-American, because I was born in Africa and I became an American citizen in 1982. So technically, I'm an African-American too, even although I'm white.
All right. Well, you know what? Hey, that's what's making the world go around, right? And
absolutely.
We appreciate you sharing that very important information. And trust me, both Trina and Pat, this information is so important, legendary. It's history. Our children and our children's children need to know what both of you have done, and all of the glass ceilings that you've broken through just to get to where you are right now.
Where we were.
Yeah,
I mean, she's still performing.
And briefly,
I can't because of physical injuries and stuff. But I mean, I went through apartheid in South Africa. That was horrible, absolutely horrible. And, you know, so I didn't have any issues with voting. And actually, I already voted last week. So, you know, let's get out there and vote. We need to, you know, do our thing for our country. We worked so hard to be able to vote, and so let's not just let it slide out of our hands. You know, women and African Americans, let's get there and do our thing. That's the way I feel about it.
You know what? You both are precious. You've just made my very first day in this studio just off the charts easy. And you know what? That goes to show the professionalism and who made the right decision when they chose both of you in Diamonds Are Forever. And we actually have to say goodbye, but I am so pleased to have both of you join us on the show. You're wonderful ladies.
It's my pleasure, and thank you for recommending me, Trina, because, you know,
you're welcome.
My part in the movie, by the way, was Shady Tree's Acorn, and the comedian in the middle and the showgirl on either side. So that's who I am. I'm an acorn.
And, you know, we didn't even get a chance to talk about all of the conversation when you dated Elvis Presley back there, but that's okay. That just means that we have something for the next time, and you are certainly invited back on. So both Pat Gill and Trina Parks, oh, my goodness. Yes, you ladies, thank you for joining us on our You Must Vote Day right here from the heart of Michigan. And both of you, we wish you well as you go forward, and we send speedy healing blessings to you in regards to the loss of your friend, Sean Connery.
God bless you guys as well. Looking forward to seeing you soon, Trina, okay?
You too.
All right, we'll see you guys in Vegas real soon. Take care.
Okay, take care. God bless. Bye-bye.
All right, everyone, you're watching Variety Talk Live from, I was about to say from Las Vegas, from Michigan. And we'll be back in a moment. I'm your host, Linda Leak, and you're sitting in live right here from Michigan. We'll see you in a minute.
Hey, Michigan. When this campaign started, we did something crazy. We promised to give a portion of my campaign money to actually help the needy. The political pros told me I was nuts, but that's exactly what I knew was the right thing to do. We've given over $1 million to homeless shelters, victims of domestic violence, veterans groups. It's been a blessing from God. Thank you. I'm John James. There is a different way. We can change this country for the better. I approve this ad.
Whenever someone comes to visit me, the first thing they say is, when are they going to get that torn down? And it's awful to have to live next to this for over 20 years. When is it our turn? We see homes being demolished. We see neighborhoods being cleaned and rebuilt. We can establish newer homes and more people, more Detroiters.
Proposal N is a good thing, and with no tax increase.
And I really feel like this could be our last hope.
Hello, Detroit. By now, you should have received your absentee ballot. Upon completion, do not mail it. Instead, drop it off at one of our drop boxes or vote centers where you can vote your absentee ballot in person. Be safe and vote. Please drop your ballot off at one of our official drop boxes or at one of our 21 vote centers where you can also vote your absentee ballot in person. Make sure your voice is heard during election week. Cast your ballot and vote.
You must vote on Tuesday, November the 3rd, 2020, for a variety of reasons. Why?
Throughout our history, people were injured and many of them died, all fighting for the right to vote. Today, mischief is unfolding across the state, designed to make it harder for people to vote. And the last reason is, if we want affordable health care, if we want affordable housing, if we want the right to have clean water and sanitation, if we're ever going to get equal pay for equal work, nutritious food, and so on, we need to believe that we deserve these things and so much more. We start with the Tuesday, November 3rd election that will be victorious if we are all involved. Retirees, welfare recipients, low-income residents, the disabled, veterans, the homeless, students. This message is for you.
November 3rd marks the beginning of a 4-year campaign to secure a quality of life that we are all entitled to. So from the bottom up, let's do this.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the show. I am your host, Linda Leak, and I would say welcome to Variety Talk live from Las Vegas, which is what I have been used to saying for a couple, 3 years now. But we actually brought the show right here in the heart of Michigan. As you all know, we have one more day to vote, and Michigan is one of the most important states ever in regards to voting, so why not be right here? And so we're very pleased and honored to be here with this wonderful station, WHPS 15.2, and it covers all of Detroit, Highland Park, and everywhere. So Variety Talk family, you can also log in, and we'll give you that information. We're going to go on Facebook and put it out there. But everybody, this show is all about making sure what you get out there and vote. I just did it this morning, and trust me, it wasn't as bad as you think. So this is all about all of us just kind of giving each other support and making sure that we do that. The website for this, www.tv33. I need contact lenses. Anyway, everybody, welcome back to the show. So we just finished with Trina Parks, who was the very first African-American actress to ever work with Sean Connery. And that was in the film Diamonds Are Forever. So we thank you forever, Trina, for joining us today on the show. And we're going to just keep rolling. I brought a lot of my celebrity friends right here in the heart of the Midwest with me to help sign up for this movement on getting everybody out there to the polls. So without further mentioning or further ado, let's bring them right on. If you ever heard of the 5 Heartbeats, JD's Revenge, this gentleman was actually JD. If you ever heard of Under Siege with Steven Seagal, and the list goes on and on. He actually is one of the founders for the NAACP Theater and Image Awards. And I can just go on and on and on, and he would love it. But instead, let's just bring him right on. So everybody, welcome to the show, Mr. Dave McKnight. Welcome to the show, Dave.
Hey, hello everybody. Hey.
How are you?
I'm doing fabulous, and I'm gonna approach this interview in a cheerful, happy way.
Well, thank you.
Right?
We can always use the positivity.
Vote, everybody, time to vote. Let's go to the polls and vote.
There we go. There we go. Let's get to the polls and vote. So, Dave, just to give everybody a little background on you, because you've done, what, over 80 plays?
Oh, yeah, almost 100 stage plays, and that over a period of 40 years or so, and been involved in almost any and everything in the film and television industry, you know what I mean, struggling and breaking down doors and taking opportunities and advantages to develop a successful career, yes. Mm-hmm.
Well, congratulations on that successful career. And as I mentioned, Trina Parks, who was just on with us earlier, you know, it's pretty interesting about the amount of time and energy that all of you have put into your careers. And so I'm going to skip and move forward. I'm getting a little scary because the time is running out on us pretty quickly.
Okay, can I jump in here for a minute?
Jump right in, Dave. Jump right in. You know how we do. Go right ahead.
Can I jump in and say something about my dear and precious friend, Trina Parks?
Yes.
Trina Parks produced and directed a stage play in Palm Springs in which I was involved in, and I played the Miles Davis. Miles Davis was my character. And it was a wonderful, wonderful opportunity. We had a good time in Palm Springs, and Trina Parks is a lovely, wonderful actress, producer, director.
She is beautiful. She is beautiful. And I was letting everyone know about you as well. And again, we'll have you on again, Dave. You know, you've done many interviews with me in Vegas, but you know, this show has purpose, and the largest purpose is the fact that you are so sincere and adamant about making sure that everybody gets out and votes, including the young people. So this is my vision. I really wanted to do this show starting in August and do one a week just to get everybody going, because I feel that that would be my part in playing within this very, very serious voting time. And you were so adamant on our previous shows, including the one of the African-American male in Hollywood. So give us your perspective on voting. A lot of the young people feel as if it's a waste of time. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I want to make an appeal to black people, white people, Asian people, all nationalities of people, that voting is extremely important in order to orchestrate the best lifestyle that you can have in America. I used to do voter registration, and when I was doing voter registration, I did come in contact with a lot of African-American people who refuse to register and vote because they are apathetic. They don't believe that their vote is going to count. They were asking me to give them a little money or something like that in order to vote. But what they don't understand is that all races and nationalities need to go to the polls and vote in order to orchestrate our democratic society in a way that best serves the people, that best serves the citizens. It's extremely important. Now, nobody is perfect. No human beings are perfect. Whether you're black, white, Asian, Filipino, doesn't matter. Human beings are imperfect people. So what we have to do as citizens is go and try to elect the best choice of those unbalanced people to get our lifestyle as best we can. That's what it is. We need to vote. It's important to vote.
Yes,
Absolutely.
it is. And all I can just do is ditto that, and just thank you for coming on and just sharing that bit. I mean, you and I have spoken for quite some time over the phone about the seriousness of this particular election, and it just can't go without being said that how important it is for everyone to exercise the right that so many people have died and bled for, in terms of us being able to have some sort of say within our lives. So, Dave, again, thanks for joining in all the way from, are you in LA or Las Vegas? Everybody, this gentleman has a summer home in Vegas and a home in LA, and I always say when I grow up, I want to be just like him. So where are you, Dave?
I'm in Los Angeles right now, and I want to let your viewing and listening audience know that I voted about 5 days ago. I went into the booth and made my selections and voted for the proper people, and I felt so good. I was completely thrilled in order to be able to do that.
You know, Dave, I will have to concur with you. There is a sense of exuberance. There's a sense of relief. I just can't begin to agree with you more. That feeling you have when you walk away from that voting booth. It's amazing, isn't it?
That's right. That's right.
So what's the climate like?
You're letting your voice be heard. And our voices are important to be heard.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
And when people say, if you don't vote, then don't complain, I can understand that, because it's just that way. And we are so filled up right now with emotion regarding everything that has and is taking place that it's our only way of being able to speak. So you define that very, very well. So we are running out of time, and thanks again, Dave. We appreciate you so much for coming on the show and just sharing.
Thank you.
This.
Love you.
Love you back. Love you back.
Please, ladies and gentlemen, go to the polls and vote. You only have about one more day. Let's go get it.
Amen. Amen. And with that, everybody, we'll be right back. You're watching Variety Talk live from Michigan. And make sure you jump into www.tv33. We'll see you back in a minute.
Hello, Detroit. I'm attorney Linda D. Bernard, and I'm a candidate for the Detroit Board of Police Commissioners, District 2. I believe that criminal justice reform starts with the police. I am a fierce advocate for police accountability and constitutional policing, which protects your civil rights. The criminal justice process starts with a police report. To ensure integrity in the process, I believe all stops, arrests, and police-initiated encounters with the public should be recorded with audio and visual body cams and dash cams to eliminate factual disputes about what really happened. I also believe in increasing neighborhood policing so as to build mutual respect and cooperation between the community and DPD, especially now after a long hot summer fueled by police misconduct and racial unrest in our sister cities. Vote for me, attorney Linda Bernard, a native Detroiter and warrior for justice and integrity, for Detroit Police Commissioner, District 2.
After 30 years in politics, Gary Peters has nothing to say for himself. Instead, he's saying that a 39-year-old black guy from Detroit is Donald Trump. Look, I put my life on the line for the Constitution, not any party or president. So when any president is doing right by Michigan, I'll help them. When they're not, I'll fight back. But Senator Peters, unlike you, I don't need this job. But Michiganders deserve a senator who will actually do the job. I'm John James, and I approve this message.
Whenever someone comes to visit me, the first thing they say is, when are they going to get that torn down? And it's awful to have to live next to this for over 20 years. When is it our turn? We see homes being demolished. We see neighborhoods being cleaned and rebuilt. We can establish newer homes and more people, more Detroiters.
Proposal N is a good thing, and with no tax increase.
And I really feel like this could be our last hope.
Hello, Detroit. By now, you should have received your absentee ballot. Upon completion, do not mail it. Instead, drop it off at one of our drop boxes or vote centers where you can vote your absentee ballot in person. Be safe and vote. Please drop your ballot off at one of our official drop boxes or at one of our 21 vote centers where you can also vote your absentee ballot in person. Make sure your voice is heard during election week. Cast your ballot and vote.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the show, and thanks for just sitting in with us so far. This has been a twofold day. It is All Souls Day, and so we are actually remembering those who have left, particularly Sean Connery. But for those who are watching, I have already promised a Memorial Day show, and we're going to do that very soon. So we'll keep you posted. In the meantime, it is one day before it's all over, okay? So we are encouraging everyone here today to vote. This is an encourage everybody to vote show. And so with that being said, we've spoken to the ones who've been around, who have fought and bled for us to vote. Now we're going to speak to someone who is a little younger, and he has spoken to some of the youth as well, and we want to find out what they think about what's going on. So we're going to ask a quick question for someone that just called in. Caller, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Oh, great, great. All right, you can give your name or not give your name. It's up to you.
I'll give you my first name. My first name is Barry.
Okay, Barry, welcome to the show. Now, tell us a little bit about, because we've had some older people on the show who are adamant about voting and understand the importance of it. You are at an age where you're in between. You understand the youth and you understand the older people. So what is your take on the younger vote? What do you think that we need to say to them today that will make a difference to get them to the polls tomorrow?
Well, that is a good question. I've been racking my brain trying to get some of the young people I've met to get out and vote. And many of them do not know the issues or who's involved or what's involved.
Where do you think the apathy comes from? Or is it apathy? Am I being a little rough when I say apathy?
Well, I think some of the young people I've talked to, they don't feel there's any connection to it. They don't feel connected to the environment, the political environment. And so because they don't see the benefits or the detriments that go along with not voting.
That's what I've heard. I've heard that they feel as if nobody really listens to their real problems, and that those problems never go answered. Is that something similar to what you've heard?
Yes, it is. There's a young man I talked to once. His main concern was police brutality and police action. And he said that, regardless of what the situation is, they're always going to be killing us black folks. So he doesn't feel the need to go and vote.
Wow. So what do we need to tell them? What suggestions do you have for them, being one who sits right there between the youth and the older people? What advice do you have?
Well, I think you have to reach them at that level. And where they are, you have to reach them where they congregate, where they spend their time, and approach it in that manner, and tell them and show them how by voting you could change things. And when you're in power, you have to make these changes so people can feel a part of this country.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's what will get them there. If they know that even one of their very important issues will be resolved and answered, that is motivation enough. So that's really good advice. And to the young people out there, anyone who is feeling the way that we discussed right now, remember that there are a couple of initiatives out there on the table, and the platform has been discussed regarding police brutality. And so it's a start, everyone. It's a start. But how are we going to get anywhere if you don't get to the polls? We just honored our what we call peaceful protesters a few weeks ago on Variety Talk, and it was very surprising to me that how the youth felt. I just discovered when one of the protesters came on and said that he would not vote because he didn't think it was important. So that's why that question is being asked. So we appreciate you coming on and joining us and just sharing with us your thoughts, your feelings, and what may make a difference in just one person's life today that will get them to the poll. So we thank you so much, Barry, for joining us today on Variety Talk. And did you vote already?
Yes, I did.
All right. So thank you for participating in making a difference in the world. And have a great rest of the day.
Thank you, and you too.
All right. Thanks so much. All right, everybody, when we come back, we're going to close out the show, but we've got someone really special, so just stay tuned. You're watching Variety Talk live from Michigan. We'll be right back.
I'm John James, and I approve this message.
My name is Annie Nix. I'm 91 years old. I'm John John's grandmother. He was raised right and had to be raised right. You always get yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am from John John. He respects senior citizens. John understands how important health care is, and he would do all that he can to protect them. John respects senior citizens and protects senior citizens because John protects me.
You must vote on Tuesday, November the 3rd, 2020, for a variety of reasons. Why?
Throughout our history, people were injured and many of them died, all fighting for the right to vote. Today, mischief is unfolding across the state, designed to make it harder for people to vote. And the last reason is, if we want affordable health care, if we want affordable housing, if we want the right to have clean water and sanitation, if we're ever going to get equal pay for equal work, nutritious food, and so on, we need to believe that we deserve these things and so much more. We start with the Tuesday, November 3rd election that will be victorious if we are all involved. Retirees, welfare recipients, low-income residents, the disabled, veterans, the homeless, students. This message is for you.
November 3rd marks the beginning of a 4-year campaign to secure a quality of life that we are all entitled to. So from the bottom up, let's do this.
Whenever someone comes to visit me, the first thing they say is, when are they going to get that torn down? And it's awful to have to live next to this for over 20 years. When is it our turn? We see homes being demolished. We see neighborhoods being cleaned and rebuilt. We can establish newer homes and more people, more Detroiters.
Proposal N is a good thing, and with no tax increase.
And I really feel like this could be our last hope.
Experience the gospel like never before with Pastor Oksu Park, founder of Christian Leaders Fellowship, a fast-growing global movement of over 300,000 church leaders. 60 years of ministry and missions with 1,200 life-changing sermons delivered each year. Pastor Park's broadcasts have reached 1 billion people across 94 countries worldwide. Join him for this deep dive into the gospel and find your way to salvation and the heart of God.
You must vote on Tuesday, November the 3rd, 2020, for a variety of reasons. Why?
Throughout our history, people were injured and many of them died, all fighting for the right to vote. Today, mischief is unfolding across the state, designed to make it harder for people to vote. And the last reason is, if we want affordable health care, if we want affordable housing, if we want the right to have clean water and sanitation, if we're ever going to get equal pay for equal work, nutritious food, and so on, we need to believe that we deserve these things and so much more. We start with the Tuesday, November 3rd election that will be victorious if we are all involved. Retirees, welfare recipients, low-income residents, the disabled, veterans, the homeless, students. This message is for you.
November 3rd marks the beginning of a 4-year campaign to secure a quality of life that we are all entitled to. So from the bottom up, let's do this.
In combat, the lives of American soldiers were in my hands, but none of us could have survived without lifting each other up. We didn't pick who to sacrifice or who to save. We fought as a family. Unity was everything. That's currently missing in Washington. Politicians from both parties put themselves ahead, and you get left behind. I'm John James. I approve this message. I was trained to leave no one behind. Come along with me.
Hello, Detroit. I'm attorney Linda D. Bernard, and I'm a candidate for the Detroit Board of Police Commissioners, District 2. I believe that criminal justice reform starts with the police. I am a fierce advocate for police accountability and constitutional policing, which protects your civil rights. The criminal justice process starts with a police report. To ensure integrity in the process, I believe all stops, arrests, and police-initiated encounters with the public should be recorded with audio and visual body cams and dash cams to eliminate factual disputes about what really happened. I also believe in increasing neighborhood policing so as to build mutual respect and cooperation between the community and DPD, especially now after a long hot summer fueled by police misconduct and racial unrest in our sister cities. Vote for me, attorney Linda Bernard, a native Detroiter and warrior for justice and integrity, for Detroit Police Commissioner, District 2.
You must vote on Tuesday, November the 3rd, 2020, for a variety of reasons. Why?
Throughout our history, people were injured and many of them died, all fighting for the right to vote. Today, mischief is unfolding across the state, designed to make it harder for people to vote. And the last reason is, if we want affordable health care, if we want affordable housing, if we want the right to have clean water and sanitation, if we're ever going to get equal pay for equal work, nutritious food, and so on, we need to believe that we deserve these things and so much more. We start with the Tuesday, November 3rd election that will be victorious if we are all involved. Retirees, welfare recipients, low-income residents, the disabled, veterans, the homeless, students. This message is for you.
November 3rd marks the beginning of a 4-year campaign to secure a quality of life that we are all entitled to. So from the bottom up, let's do this.
Whenever someone comes to visit me, the first thing they say is, when are they going to get that torn down? And it's awful to have to live next to this for over 20 years. When is it our turn? We see homes being demolished. We see neighborhoods being cleaned and rebuilt. We can establish newer homes and more people, more Detroiters.
Proposal N is a good thing, and with no tax increase.
And I really feel like this could be our last hope.
I'm John James, and I approve this message.
My name is Annie Nix. I'm 91